The United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense latest intelligence update on Ukraine, September 23, 2023. The 247th Guards Air Assault Landing Regiment of the Russian Armed Forces has suffered immense losses among its senior leadership since the invasion of Ukraine began in February 2022. In early September, the regiment's commander, Colonel Vasily Popov, was likely killed in fighting near Orikhiv. Just weeks prior, in August, his predecessor Colonel Pyotr Popov resigned his command, reportedly in protest over the military's failure to recover the bodies of Russian soldiers killed in action. At the very start of the invasion in February 2022, the regiment's then commander Colonel Konstantin Zizevsky was killed near Mykolaiv. The decimation of the 247th's leadership is indicative of the extreme attrition and high turnover afflicting Russia's forces. Even among senior officers, the regiment is considered one of the most elite in the Russian airborne troops. Yet in just over 18 months, it has lost 3 commanders, 2 killed in action, and 1 who resigned in protest. This stark toll highlights the immense costs Russia's military is paying in its invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine Armed Forces General Staff Update. Day 577 of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Fighting continued across Ukraine on September 23, with 15 engagements reported. Russia launched attacks using Iranian Shahed-136 and Shahed-131 kamikaze drones, missiles, aircraft, and artillery. The Ukrainian Air Force and air defenses shot down 14 out of 15 incoming Shahed drones. Russia carried out 5 missile strikes, 44 airstrikes, and 22 multiple-launch rocket system attacks on Ukrainian positions and civilian infrastructure, resulting in casualties. Northwest, no significant changes along the Volyn and Polisia axes. Some Belarusian units operate near the border but no offensive groupings seen. North, Russia maintains forces along the border, shelling settlements in Ukraine from Russian territory. Over 20 towns suffered artillery and mortar strikes. Kupiansk axis, Russian airstrikes near Sinkivka, Ivanivka, Kislivka. Over 10 settlements including Berestov shelled. Lyman axis, Ukraine repelled a Russian attack near Bilohorivka. Russian airstrikes on Nevsky, Bilohorivka. Over 10 settlements including Novosadov shelled. Bakhmut axis, Russia unsuccessful in regaining lost ground near Klishchivka. Airstrike near Klishchivka. Over 15 settlements including Vasyukivka shelled. Avdiivka axis, no breakthroughs. Airstrike near Avdiivka. Shelling of Karamik, Novobakhmutivka, and others. Marinka axis, Ukraine repelled 9 Russian attacks near Marinka and Pobeda. Airstrike near Marinka. Shelling of Nevelsky, Oleksandropol, and over 10 other settlements. Shakhtarsk axis, Russian airstrikes near Vuhledar, Urozhainy, Staromayorsky. Shelling of Vodane, Vuhledar, Prikostivka, and others. Zaporizhzhia axis, Ukraine continues offensive near Verbove, forcing Russian retreat. Airstrike near Robotyne. Over 10 settlements including Chave-1 shelled. Kherson axis, Russian airstrikes near Kozatsky, Mykolaiv, Olhivka. Shelling of Novoalexandrivka, Ducheny, and around 10 other settlements. Ukraine continues offensive operations in the south, inflicting losses on Russian forces. 8 Ukrainian airstrikes struck Russian troop concentrations, weapons, equipment. 4 strikes hit Russian anti-aircraft systems. Missile forces struck Russian positions and radar. The Institute for the Study of War Russian Offensive Campaign Assessment. The Institute for the Study of War assesses that Ukrainian forces have broken through key Russian defensive fortifications west of Verbove in western Zaporizhzhia Oblast. These fortifications were part of Russia's defense in depth in the region, including anti-vehicle ditches, Dragon's Teeth, and fighting positions 1.7 to 3.5 kilometers west of Verbove. Ukrainian Commander Brigadier General Alexander Tarnovsky stated Ukrainian forces achieved a breakthrough on the left flank near Verbove and continue advancing. Combat footage on September 22 showed destroyed Ukrainian armored vehicles beyond the Russian trench line near Verbove, indicating Ukrainian forces moved heavy equipment past the defenses. Satellite imagery confirms Ukraine has brought heavy equipment closer to Verbove in the past 96 hours, consistent with Tarnovsky's statement. The breakthrough west of Verbove is not the end of Russia's layered defenses in western Zaporizhzhia. However, it marks important progress for Ukraine in cracking Russia's fortified lines in the area through combined arms maneuvers. Ukraine continues offensive operations to leverage this success. In summary, Ukraine has achieved an important breach in Russia's defenses west of Verbove, bringing Ukrainian forces closer to the city. This highlights Ukraine's ability to break through Russia's fortifications through well-coordinated offensive actions. The Institute for the Study of War key takeaways today. Ukraine has breached but not fully overcome Russia's defenses near Verbove. Ukraine is advancing south toward Novoprokopivka. Ukraine aims to continue counteroffensives through the winter. The offensive likely destroyed Russia's 810th Naval Infantry Brigade. Ukraine's fixing operations around Bakhmut may be alleviating pressure on the Kupiansk front. The September 22 strike on Russia's Black Sea Fleet HQ likely wounded senior commanders. Russia conducted widespread missile and drone strikes across Ukraine overnight. Occupation governor appointed Russian ultranationalist Dmitry Rogozin as senator for Zaporizhzhia. Russia faces issues with military morale, commitment, and leadership that reforms may not easily fix. Disjointed Wagner Group forces returning to Ukraine will have limited impact. Russia conducted failed offensive ops along multiple axes across eastern and southern Ukraine. Corruption continues, with Russian officials embezzling military funds. Forced deportation of Ukrainian children to Russia persists in occupied areas. In summary, Ukraine made important gains cracking Russia's defenses and continues pushing back forces across fronts, while Russia's military struggles with corruption, leadership issues, and failed offensives. Jake Bro update. Russia's Black Sea Fleet headquarters in Sevastopol, Crimea was struck by Ukrainian missiles, causing major damage. The fleet commander may have been killed. This is a major blow to Russia's military command. Ukraine likely used a combination of drones, missiles, and cruise missiles to overwhelm Russian defenses and hit the target. Western-supplied weapons like Storm Shadow and Scalp missiles were possibly used. Russia is not reporting the attack to its people, as it contradicts their narrative that the war is going well. Meanwhile, Ukraine continues counteroffensives in the south and east. The U.S. will reportedly send a small number of ATACMS missiles to Ukraine soon, allowing it to hit targets deep inside occupied territory. The first Abrams tanks will arrive in Ukraine next week after training in Germany. Depleted uranium shells are also being provided. In the U.S., congressional budget disputes could lead to a temporary government shutdown, but this is unlikely to affect Ukraine aid due to bipartisan support. Russia is struggling with losses of commanders, inability to rotate depleted forces, low morale and discipline issues among troops. Ukraine's armed forces continue to make progress across multiple fronts as Russia's military faces mounting setbacks.